Fatherland videos. We have a mythology read tonight. This is from the Aztec Myths and Tales book. But as you can see here, it's in the Mayan myth section. Let's see, it says Mayan myths. This book is forwarded by Anthony F. Favini and Flame Tree Publishing. We're reading A Challenge from Hades on page 286. Challenge from Hades. On one occasion, Huhan Apu and Vukub Hanapu played a game of ball, which in its progress took them into the vicinity of the realm of Zabalba, the Kichi Hades. The rulers of that drear abode, imagining they would had a chance of capturing the brothers, extended a challenge to them to play them at ball. In this challenge, Hunkami and Vukapkami, the sovereigns of the Kichi Hell, dispatched by 4 messengers in the shape of owls. The brothers accepted the challenge, and bidding farewell to their mother, Exmulkani, and their receptive sons and nephews, followed the feathered messengers down the long hill which led to the underworld. The fooling of the brethren. The American Indian is grave and taciturn. If there is one thing he fears and dislikes more than another, it is ridicule. To his exterior and haughty spirit, it appears as something derogative to his dignity, a slur upon his manhood. The hero brothers had not been long in Zabalba when they discovered that it was the intention of the lords of Hades to fool them and subject them to every species of indignity. After crossing a river of blood, they came to the place of the lords of Zabal, where they espied 2 seated figures in front of them. Thinking that they recognized in them Hunankami and Vukukami, they saluted them in a becoming manner, only to discover to their mortification that they were addressing figures of wood. This incident excited the ribald jeers of the Balbans, who scoffed at the brothers. Next, they were invited to sit on the seat of honor, which they found to their dismay to be a red-hot stone, a circumstance which caused unbounded amusement to the inhabitants of the underworld. Then they were imprisoned in the house of gloom, where they were sacrificed and buried. The head of Hun Apu was, however, suspended from a tree, upon the branches of which grew a crop of gourds, so like the dreadful trophy as sent to indistinguishable from it. The fiat went forth that no one in Zabalba must eat of the fruit of that tree, but the lords of Zabalba had reckoned without feminine curiosity, and its unquenchable love of the forbidden. The Princess Sequik. One day, if they ever penetrated to the gloomy and unwholesome place, a princess of Zabalba called Zaquik, Blood, daughter of Kumenquik, a notability of Zabalba, passed under the tree and observing the desirable fruit which it was covered, stretched out her hand to pluck one of the gourds. Into the outstretched palm the head of Huhan Apple spat and told Zaquik that she would become a mother. Before she returned home, however, the hero god assured her that no harm will come to her and that she must not be afraid. In a few months' time, the princess's father heard of her adventure. And she was doomed to be slain. The royal messengers of Zabal, the owls, received commands to dispatch her and to bring back her heart in a vase. But on the way, she overcame the scruples of the owls by splendid promises, and they substituted for her heart the coagulated sap of the bloodwort plant. The birth of Hunapu and Zablancu. Exunkami, left at home, looked after the welfare of the young Humbats and Ohuchawin, and thither, at the instigation of the head of Hunapu, went to Zaquik for protection. At first, Usikami could not credit her story, but upon Zaquik appealing to the gods, a miracle was performed on her behalf, and she was permitted to gather a basket of maize, where no maize grew, to prove the authenticity of her claim. Shortly afterwards, when she had won the good graces and age Asikun, her twin sons were born, the Hunapu and the Zapukuku, whom we have already met as the central figures of this preceding myth, which come from the first book of the Popol Vuh, the divine children. But the divine children were both noisy and mischievous. They tormented their venerable grandmother with their shrill uproar and tricky behavior. At last, Zukami, unable to put up with their habits, turned them outdoors. They took an outdoor life with a surprising ease and soon became expert hunters and skillful in the use of the serpatine, the blowpipe, with which they shot birds and small animals. They were badly treated by their half-brother Humbats and Hanchuan, who, jealous of their fame as hunters, annoyed them in every possible manner. But the divine children retaliated by turning their tormentors into hideous apes. The sudden change in the appearance of her grandsons caused Usukami the most profound grief and dismay, and she begged that they would have brightened her home with their singing and flute playing, might not be condemned to such a dreadful fate. She was informed by the divine brothers that if she could behold their antics unmoved by mirth, her wish would be granted. But the capers they cut and their grimaces caused her so much merriment that on 3 separate occasions she was able to restrain her laughter, and then men monkeys took their leave.